In today's video, we're going to go through the years to see the speed difference between some of Formula One's most iconic cars and eras. We're at the historic Laguna Seca Raceway in California, which boasts tight, twisty and technical corners with high-speed 90-degree, really flowing corners, which makes it a perfect track to test the speed and grip of these absolute monsters. How much faster has Formula One got in the modern era? What are the different characteristics between each car and how do they compare? We're going to be driving cars dating all the way from back in 1906 right up to 2024. What's your favourite era of F1? Let me know down in the comments. Right, without further ado, let's get cracking. First up today is the Renault AK90. This car was raced between 1906 and 1908. And it actually won the French Grand Prix in 1906. It has around 90 horsepower, and don't worry, I'm not going to make you watch the whole lap because we'll be here forever. And the cars do get significantly faster after this one, so do bear with me. But as you can see, look at the grip we have coming out of the first corner. Barely none. It's like driving on ice, this thing. It's absolutely crazy. The brakes are virtually non-existent. Anytime I have to go into any type of corner I've got to slow down, I have to slow down way in advance. And actually the engine braking seems to be a little bit more powerful than the actual brakes themselves, which is slightly worrying. I'm not sure how realistic that is. I've never driven this car obviously, but I'm just going to take it for what it is. But yeah, it's super difficult to slow down into a corner. You can't take much speed through the corner, and then coming out of the corner it's absolutely all over the place. And coming through the corkscrew here, I've had to stay away from the right hand side because I didn't practice. I went on that curb and my wheel actually buckled underneath the car. So yeah, that was not great. So I don't know why it did that, but yeah, this is a long lap. There's not really much speed carried through here. Look at the drifting you can do though. If you really wanted to drift, this is the perfect car for it. But coming over the line, it's a 2:42.1. So let's see if we can beat that with our next car, which is this. This is the Alfa 158, also known as the Alfetta. It was in service between 1938 and 1939, then obviously the war happened, and then from 1946 all the way through to 1953. This is one of the most successful Formula One cars ever built. It won 47 of the races out of the 54 that it was entered into, so incredibly successful. It even won every single race in the 1950 Formula One season, which was the first official Formula One season as we know it today, so incredibly successful. Already driving this, the brakes feel like a completely different level. They actually function, which is perfect, just what you want from a Formula One car. It's still not fantastic, but compared to that car before, the Renault, this is absolutely a completely different league. You can see they're sliding out of the corners. The track at the rear is slightly less than the track at the front, but you can carry a lot more speed. There's a lot more mid-corner grip, turning grip, even traction, a heck of a lot more traction, but it does still have that same characteristic of you just want to kind of turn, hit the throttle and then just do a little dance with the rear end of the car. It feels so fun. And I couldn't imagine trying to drive this fast because you'd really have to modulate the throttle and the steering at the same time. I'm just having a bit of fun here, to be honest, just getting the car around, planting the throttle and then dancing with the rear end, just because that's how I find it more fun. It might not be the fastest way around the track, but it is what it is. But yeah, as you can see, obviously no downforce or anything like that on this. It's purely mechanical grip and a nice little windshield for us there to look through. A little bit different from the Halo we've got today. I don't think this would save you in any kind of accident. But yeah, already much faster than the Renault before it. The Renault was a 240 something. This is going to be a 156.318, so way faster. So let's see what the 70s can give us. This is the Ferrari 312T. It was raced between 1975 and 1980, and during that time it actually won 27 races, so again incredibly successful and driven by legends like Niki Lauda back in the day. Well over 500 horsepower this car, and already, I mean, the difference between this and the 50s Formula 1 car is just night and day. You can see we've got massive tyres at the rear, we've got massive rear wing, big front wing as well. So now we're really getting into the days of aerodynamics, and the brakes on this are just phenomenal compared to the two cars beforehand. The grip through the mid-corner is unbelievable. As you can see, I do drop a wheel out onto the gravel there. It's so easy to do on that particular corner. But yeah, loads and loads of mid-corner and exit speed, loads of traction. Not too much traction at low speed, just because of the actual torque and power of this engine. But coming down the corkscrew here, absolutely lovely. It wants to break free on me, but I just go easy on the throttle and we make it safely through. Again, the downforce is really pushing us into the track, so the faster we go, the more actually mid-corner grip we have. Just have to hit the apexes. There is a lot of understeer. I think there's so much downforce from that rear wing, it really pushes the rear of the car into the ground, so the front is kind of following on behind. But yeah, already much faster, and we're going to come across the line. We're going to be a good 30 seconds faster than the Alfa, 1:27.5. So yeah, super fast. But let's see what a turbocharged car can do from the 80s. This then is the Lotus 98T, again instantly recognisable from the 80s. 1986 to be exact, this vehicle. Obviously a turbocharged monster, the first kind of years of the turbocharged cars, ground effect and all that, so these things were crazy. Special qualifying tyres, and obviously over 1,200 horsepower. Who knows exactly the number that they had, but crazy amounts of horsepower, even more than today's cars. So yeah, this thing in the straight line is absolutely crazy, and it has much more turning traction, it has much more mid-corner speed, and again it has loads more traction coming out of the corner. In fact, that's a lie, it doesn't have much more traction coming out of the corner. This car has so much torque and power that you have to be so careful coming out of corners. It's scary. I would hate to drive this in real life, because I think it'd kill me in one corner. There is just no traction. You have to wait and wait and wait, and then you press the throttle earlier than you want it to, so the turbo spools up, and then when you fully plant your foot on the floor, you've got all the power there. It's so scary. I've not mastered it here. Again, I'm just having a bit of fun, but it's definitely going to be faster than the Ferrari. But what is it going to be? It's going to be a good 10 seconds faster, 1:16.0. So yeah, absolutely mad. Crazy thing to try and master this. I couldn't imagine driving this in real life. But let's move on to a slightly more modern vehicle. The Jordan 2000 Formula 1 car, the EJ10. And listen to this, absolutely incredible. Obviously from the 2000 season, like I said, screaming V10. Oh yes, I could listen to this all day long. 750 horsepower or thereabouts. Only 600 kilograms. If only today's cars weighed 600 kilograms, we might have some even better racing and faster race cars. But yeah, this has brakes like you wouldn't believe. Again, I get stuck on that curb, which keeps really annoying me on this circuit. But yeah, unbelievable downforce, unbelievable power, unbelievable braking. They actually had to slow these cars down with those grooves in the tyres, so there was less of a contact patch because they were so fast at one stage. So yeah, this is going to be much faster than the turbo car just because of the sheer downforce. Obviously there's a lot of technology now, diffusers, the front and rear wings have got years and years of development, all the little tricks around the car to make it as fast as possible, and that massive V10 in the back. So it's definitely going to be faster. We come across the line, it's 1:06.830. So yeah, one of my favourite cars of all time, my favourite era of F1. So for me, driving these cars is a dream. But now let's move on to today's cars. This is the 2024 generic car from RSS, and I'll be honest, I'm not great at these cars. This has over 1,000 horsepower, obviously V6 turbo hybrid, massive diffusers, massive amount of ground effects, massive amount of downforce from the wings as well, and so much power that it just sticks all the way through the corner. You just put it in, off you go, and it sticks. There's so much power as well, easily hit 200 miles an hour, and the tyres there's just so much grip. And the way the torque curve works from the engine is so different from any of the other cars. It's hard to explain, but I really struggle with these modern cars. I much prefer driving the older 2000s cars. They just feel a lot more raw. This just feels like there's almost like a meta to it, you know, it's like playing a rain in iRacing or something. There's almost like a specific type of way of driving these cars, and I just haven't mastered it. I can drive reasonably quick, but there's at least another 3 or 4 seconds easily in this car from what I've done, and I've not even hit the apex there, so it's not great driving either. It is still a 105.1, and so still a second faster than the V10 car, but yeah, you could probably, if you got someone who really knew what they were doing with this car on this track, easily, I reckon, under a minute, maybe 101, 102. I think the real life record of this track is a 2005 Toyota, I believe. I think it was like a 104 or something. I'm sure it was Timo Glock in a demo run, something like that. But yeah, I love doing this. It was great to just compare all the different eras. I'm wondering what it must be like to actually do this. It must be something like what Karun Chandok does at Goodwood. You know, he drives all these old cars, and it'd just be so much fun to do that in real life. But I can't do that in real life. I'm in my bedroom, so I get to do it on sim, and it's not as fun, but it certainly is as much fun as it can be, because it's as close as I can get to driving these things. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Please do subscribe and leave a like on the video, really appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers guys.